Hello, everyone. My name is Josh Parker. I am a fifth year ALT from Togitsu, which is a small town north of Nagasaki City. And today I'm here to talk to you about the line game and its many variations. So let's get started. The line game is a very easy and short game, mostly just asking and answering questions. It only takes about 5 to 10 minutes, and it can be adjusted for any English level. I played this with elementary school grade 3 and also junior high school grade 3. So you can really change it depending on the context. I also think you can use this for high school. For example, for elementary school, I just ask easy questions, what color do you like? Do you like dogs? But then at the higher levels, junior high school, third grade or so, I ask them to do a +1 or a +2 when they answer their question. A good point about this game is you can review past grammar points. So I think a big thing that students have a problem with is they learn so much grammar and then they forget the stuff that they learned like last semester. And so this is a good way for students to get refreshed on that old grammar. I also use this for just a warm-up at the beginning, the first few minutes of class, to get students into the English mood. So yeah, let's get started with the line game, how to play. So at the beginning of class, at the beginning of the game, I go over the 4 directions in English: front, back, left, and right. And once the students get used to saying those 4 directions, I have everyone stand up. And then I ask them a question. So the first question is, what color do you like? If they can answer, I have them raise their hand. And it looks like someone has raised their hand. So I call on them and they answer. If they answer correctly, I have them choose one direction: front, back, left, or right. So this time, the student chose right, which means that they get to sit down along with the people to the right of them. So like this. So by now, the students sort of have an understanding of the basic rules. So let's keep on going. Next question is, can you play the piano? And okay, here we have a person with their hand raised. I call on them and they answer correctly. And they choose back. So everyone behind them can sit down like this. Okay, next question. When is your birthday? Oh, we have a hand here. Call on them, they answer correctly, and they choose right. Okay, next question is, what is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? Oh, it looks like we have a Monty Python fan here, and they answer correctly somehow. And they get to choose left. If you notice, at the very left, there is one student sitting down, but that's okay. Just everyone's going to sit down in the basic game of line game. So next question is, what's your favorite food? Okay, we have a hand, they answer correctly, and they choose right. So right gets to sit down. Okay, now we have 2 students left. I wonder who's going to answer. How many siblings do you have? Oh, and the person in the back can answer. They answer correctly, and they choose front, which means everyone gets to sit down. So at this point, everyone is sitting down and the game is over. So the goal of this game is for everyone to sit down. Sometimes I like to put a timer, and if the students can all sit down within that time limit, they win. If they can't, the teachers win. So it gets a little bit competitive, so it's very fun. Okay, so now we're going to talk about some of the variations of the line game that we looked at earlier. Today, I'm only going to introduce 3 variations, but if you'd like to know more, please send me an email. I'll link it at the end of this presentation. So, our first variation that we'll be looking at today is sitting to standing. Up until now, all the students just sit down. But this time, the sitting down students get to stand up. So variation 2 is, instead of the teachers always asking the questions, the students ask the questions. And variation 3 is the popcorn line game, which we'll look at a little bit later. And a good thing about these variations is you can mix and match them to fit your needs. Say you have only 5 minutes left at the end of class and you want to do a quick activity. You can use this and use popcorn line game. But for example, if you've run out of material in your class and you have 20 minutes left, you can make a longer game using the sitting to standing game variation. So let's look at each one individually. So the first is sitting to standing. So here we have an example. One person in the middle is sitting down where the other people are standing up. And say the first person onto the left raises their hand and answers the question, and they choose right. In the original line game, everyone would just sit down. But in the sitting to standing line game, the person sitting would stand up, and then everyone else would sit down, like this. So a good part about this game is it's challenging. The students have to figure out which student it should answer and which directions they should choose to make all the students sit down. And also, it can make a longer game. Say you have a little bit more time that you want to use up. It's very fun, and the students really enjoy this variation. So the next variation is the student asking the question. So for example, I'll ask the first question, and they answer, and they get to choose right. So everyone sits down. But now, instead of the teacher asking the next question, the student who just answered asks the next question. And they ask, how's the weather? And they get to also choose which student answers their questions. And a good thing about this is I find that a lot of students have practiced answering questions, but not necessarily asking them. So this helps them practice asking questions. Also, it's self-led, so they feel more responsible. So now I want to introduce the third variation, popcorn line game. I don't know about you, but when I think of popcorn, I think of this popping action. So we're going to see that happen. Usually, students have to choose front, back, left, or right when they answer a question. But this time, let's watch. So this student raises their hand, answers a question correctly. This time, instead of choosing a direction, everyone around them gets to sit down. I find this is very good because it's very fast. If you're short for time, you should do popcorn game to shorten the time you need to play. Also, a lot of students I find in the original line game worry about who they should make sit down. Should they sit down their friends or, stuff like that. But with this game, this variation, you don't have to wait, and it's very quick. Okay, that is it for today. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, or if you want to hear any more variations of the line game, please send me an email, theporttownoftime@gmail.com. Again, thanks for watching. My name is Josh Parker, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.